Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loads 15, where I'll be giving you 3 of my best bets for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into that, I just want to go through a couple of things with you. Now first of all, if you want to, make sure you listen to the latest episode of the In the Saddle podcast, where we did a special episode for the Thyestes meeting at Gowran Park tomorrow. It's always one of my favourite meetings of the national hunt season, and as a special guest on the panel we had Robbie Power, who's got a big ride in the race. He rides discordantly and he's got some other good rides as well, and if you want to listen to his thoughts on the big race and some of his other chances, make sure you listen to it by hitting one of the links in the description box below. We've got all the major podcast platforms covered, including the likes of SoundCloud, Spotify and iTunes. So yeah, really appreciate it if you want to go and give it a listen, and feel free to subscribe, rate and review our podcast. Really appreciate all the feedback you give us. So yeah, that's the plug out for Robbie Power. Also as well, I just quickly want to go through on how our selections have performed today. Now at the current time of recording, we still do have one selection to run, which goes in the 750 at Kempton, so fingers crossed we can have a decent result there. But yeah, we've had 2 selections before this video that have run. One of them was a winning next best. That was Win-Win Power for Thor Hammer Hansen and Richard Hannon in the colours of the King Power group. Just hung on in the end. He really did battle it out and was able to get the job done. Advertised at 7 to 2 yesterday afternoon and was well smashed in the betting. Went off favourite in the end. I think the final SP was about 11 to 8. It was pretty short really, I thought, of those prices, but yeah, if you got on it slightly bigger, at least a profit is a profit. But yeah, the other selection, our nap, yeah, not so good news there, unfortunately. Embrace the Moment was my nap for William Carver, and Ian Williams was pulled up down the back straight after appearing to go wrong. I haven't heard anything either way, if she was fatally injured or she's okay. I don't know, but fingers crossed she has come out of it okay. But yeah, it didn't look good. If you know anything, leave me a comment in the comments box below, or feel free to get in touch with me on Twitter, you know, and I'll let the world know if it's not already out there. So yeah, not very good there, but yeah, unfortunately those things happen in racing time to time. We often really don't see it too much on the all-weather, but it can happen, yeah. So I send my thoughts to the connections of Embrace the Moment. So yeah, that was a bit of a sad note for us today. But yeah, going on then for tomorrow's horse racing, I've got 3 selections, and we're going to be actually focusing with 2 of them at Gowran, and we're actually going to Gowran for the next best to kick things off in the John Gormoy hurdle. This is always normally a really good race. Presenting Percy won it twice in a row, and also as well last year Benny's de Jure ran in it. But I would say this year's renewal isn't maybe as good as some of the more recent ones, but I thought that there was a horse in here that was really interesting and unfortunately had a really good chance, and that is Great White Shark for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins in the colours of Malcolm, Denmark. Now I think this horse is really interesting. Now a lot of people might think she's got to really step forward, and she does have to step forward, but I think she's still on a crest of a wave, you know, and still's got a nice upward trajectory about her. If you actually look at her most recent start, she actually won the Cesarovich when she landed a gamble that day. She was very well fancied. She did the job not really well there. And also as well, the time before that, she won at Galway, at the Galway Festival, you know, so she has got a really improving profile. And if you go back through her form last year, she finished 3rd in the Martin Pipe at the Cheltenham Festival, you know, so she's been running some career bests of late. And I can't see any reason why that trajectory can't continue. Like I said, I don't think this is a particularly strong race tomorrow. She's got an official rating over in Ireland of 146, and she gets the mare's allowance tomorrow, which means at the weights she's got a really good chance, I think, in this race. Also as well, if you're looking at some of her entries for future races, she actually has got an entry in the Stayers. She's 25 to 1, I think, best odds I've seen out there currently at the time recording for the anti-post markets for the Stayers. But yeah, I think this horse, she's an interesting player, and if she was to win tomorrow, I think Connections could maybe be possibly thinking going on to bigger and better things. Maybe they might want to go to the mare's hurdle, who knows. But yeah, this mare, she's been doing really well of late. Like I said, she won the Cesarovich, she won at Galway. I just think she might take all the beating in here. And even though, yes, she hasn't been seen for a little while, that wouldn't concern me too much. And Willie Mullins' stable been in flying form. Another great day at Thurles today. So yeah, I think this horse will take all the beating. At the time recording, just before 7 o'clock, this horse was available with a few firms, including the likes of Sky Bet at 11 to 4. And I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet as my next best of it. We then move on to my nap, which is going to be running in the Thyestes, the 325 at Gowran. Now, if you've already listened to the In the Saddle podcast, you know what that's going to be, and that's going to be Discordantly, who's currently at the time recording 12-1 with Sky Bet. And as my nap of the day, I'm going to recommend a 1 point each way selection here for Robbie Power and Jessica Harrington. Now, I haven't just napped this horse because we had Robbie on the In the Saddle podcast. I actually really liked him from just studying him from a form basis, you know, because if you actually look down and assess his form, his best form has been going right-handed. He's got a really good record going this way round. He won at the track before last season on his final start in testing ground over 2.5 miles. And then on his seasonal reappearance at Galway, he absolutely bolted up over slightly further. So there's a lot to like about his chances tomorrow. I was maybe a bit concerned he was high in the weights, but it was really reassuring to hear from Robbie that he thinks off a mark of 141, he's definitely got a nice staying handicap in him. He ran a respectable race to finish 4th in the Troy Town at Navan back in November, and also as well he ran a good race for a long way at Leopardstown, where the track probably just didn't suit him that day, and also as well the ground, it wasn't soft enough for him, and with the amount of rain they've had at Gowran, it's going to be quite testing tomorrow. But I expect Robbie to get him into a good position. He'll want to be handy. He's not a horse that wants to be running past horses. He'll want to be up there, make it a real war of attrition, and I just think under a nice low racing weight, this horse has one of the most improving profiles in the race. You've got a couple of others in here that could be interesting. Runwell, Fred, Cocoa Beach, but they're stepping out of novice company against some hardened battle-like types, you know, that have gone there and got the t-shirt. And I know Discordantly is still a young horse, but he's running a couple of these big handicaps now, and I just think that experience might serve him in good stead. So I think there's a real good chance for Discordantly tomorrow to go very close in this race, and with the 6 places currently on offer with Sky Bet 12-1, I think that's a cracking each way bet, and that's why Discordantly is going to be my nap of the day in the Thyestes at Gowran Park. We then end with my final selection of the day coming at Newcastle, which is going to be my long shot. That's Taboo Beach Boy for Paula Muir claiming 3, and she's riding for Becky Menzies. Now, I think this horse, off a mark of 50, could have a race in him on the flat. Now, if you look at some of his most recent starts, he's been running on some of those jumpers bumpers cards at Newcastle, and his penultimate start at Newcastle, when he ran into Snookered, was actually quite a good effort. Snookered on the flat for Brian Ellison is rated 70, and he wasn't too far beaten at all that day. They were racing off the same weight. So you like to think, off a mark of 50, this lad has got a race in him of this nature. And I just think there's a lot to like about his chances tomorrow. Also as well, Paula Muir claims 3, and that's going to help. I didn't think this was a particularly strong race. It's over 1.5 miles. Those jumpers bumpers races were over 2 miles. But I think the tactics on this horse tomorrow will to be up there at the pace node, maybe hopefully sit midfield, just tracking them. And then I think his stamina will come into play, and he could definitely run a really big race and make the frame. He's currently 16-1 with some firms I've seen, including the likes of Betfair and Paddy Power. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection, but I just thought some of the horses at the top, yes, they might have some nice form coming into this, but I thought Taboo Beach Boy was quite a big price, and I know Becky Menzies does have another one at the top of the bet in which Graham Lee has decided to ride, but I still thought Taboo Beach Boy could maybe spring a couple of surprises, and Becky Menzies has had some big priced winners in the past before when it's been a second and third string. I seem to remember a couple of times on the Lisa Jumpers and Bumpers card. So yeah, I just thought Taboo Beach Boy had a bit of an outside chance, and if you wanted a bit of a fun selection, Taboo Beach Boy could be in the 4-12 at Newcastle. So they're my 3 strongest tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're liking these videos, please remember to hit the thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe here to my YouTube channel for more videos. Also as well, if you want to follow me on social media, Twitter is the best place to do so, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to know a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.